Good evening, and I'd like to call our Tuesday, September 4th, 2018 Piqua City Commission meeting to order. Let us stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have our roll call, please?
Mayor Hines.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Vogt.
Here.
Commissioner Short.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Okay, and we have any announcements this evening? Do we have any public announcements this evening? If not, we will move to our consent agenda.
There's two items on the agenda tonight: the approval of the minutes from the special meeting executive session on August 14th, 2018, and the minutes of the August 21st, 2018 regular city commission meeting, and also a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Kevin Ganger as a city employee.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the consent agenda passes, and I'd like to invite Kevin Ganger to join me up front. I'm good. So this is resolution number R-118-18, a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Kevin S. Ganger as a city employee. Whereas Kevin S. Ganger has retired as captain with the fire department, and whereas his retirement follows 28 years of faithful and dedicated service to the city and its citizens, now therefore be it resolved by the Commission of the City of Piqua, Miami County, Ohio, and all members elected thereto concurring, that in recognition and appreciation of the public service of Kevin S. Ganger as captain with the fire department, this commission tenders its unanimous and respectful tribute by this resolution, which shall be a matter of public and permanent record. This resolution shall take place and be in force from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Thank you so much for your years of service here with us. We appreciate it. We also thank your lovely wife, who also has kept the home fires burning, as you have taken care of other things that are burning in town. But anyway, but we do really appreciate your years, and best wishes for retirement and all that is before you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Around. I'm getting there.
Congratulations. Thanks for all your service.
Oh, well.
Congratulations.
They don't pay me enough.
Job well done.
Thank you, Fred. We not anymore. We good. You good?
Move the pen down. Good.
And now we move to the old business part of our agenda. The first one is ordinance number 12-18. It is a second reading.
An ordinance repealing Schedule A of Chapter 33 of the Piqua Code and adopting a new Schedule A of Chapter 33 of the Piqua Code relating to wages of certain municipal employees.
Ms. Bogan will provide the staff report.
Schedule A pertains to the salaries of full-time, non-union bargaining employees. The position of Assistant City Manager, Director of Economic Development has been removed, and the position of Community and Economic Development Director has been added.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission on this?
I have a question. This is definitely going to get passed by us. Is there any reason why we should have another reading?
Not really. We won't be able to advertise until the third reading, But if you pass it tonight, we can go ahead and start advertising for the position.
That was my question.
Pass the resolution, eliminate the third reading and
Correct.
pass it.
Correct.
I make a motion, we waive the 3 reading rule.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the third reading has been waived. Do you have a motion for the ordinance?
I move to adopt ordinance 12-18.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, ordinance number 12-18 has passed. And now we move to resolution number R-108-18. This was tabled on 8/21/18.
A resolution authorizing a purchase order to Reineke Ford Lincoln Incorporated for the purchase of a Ford 350 truck for the Public Works Department.
I'll call on Mr. Brookhart for the staff report.
Good evening, Commission.
Excuse me, before you speak, Brian, I do need to have a motion to remove it from the table.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of removing it from the table, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, has been removed from the table. Now you can talk.
Good evening again. Upon request of Commission at the last meeting, we checked on the state contract price for this vehicle, and the state contract price for the vehicle was $905 more than the quotes that we got back, as Reineke Ford being the lowest. The total price on state contract for that vehicle would have been $40,658. The purchase price for the vehicle that we would like to purchase will be $39,753. By going with the state contract, we would have been getting a 2018 vehicle. With going with Reineke Ford, we will be getting a 2019 vehicle. They currently, as of today, had 19 of these bodies on their lot, and we will be able to get immediate delivery after a purchase order is delivered to them.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move,
Go ahead, John.
I move we adopt resolution R-108-18.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-109-18. This was also tabled at our last commission meeting, so I'll need a motion to remove it from the table.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of removing it from the table, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it has been removed from the table.
A resolution authorizing a purchase order to Galida Truck Equipment Incorporated for the purchase of a dump body for the Public Works Department.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes, the Public Works Department would like to purchase a stainless steel dump body for the 2019 Ford F-350. The dump bed on our specification did not match the state bid body price, and we would not be comparing like items on this part of the purchase. The dump body on the state contract is a 2 cubic yard dump body, and we require a 4.67 cubic yard capacity, which is comparable to the bed that we had on our 2001 F-350.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission on this resolution? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, resolution number R-109-18 passes. And now we move to our new business. And we have the first resolution number R-119-18.
A resolution authorizing a lease with Crown Equipment Corporation for the McCullough Public Square.
If you remember, a few weeks ago, we were approached by Crown Equipment Corporation to donate a statue of William McCullough to go in the public square. I think the commission was receptive at that time. I will ask Ms. Wall to explain the purpose of the lease for this particular project.
Thank you. Anytime we have done a reservation, if you will, of the park, We have done leases, even like the Corvette show, when the 4th of July Festival Committee put on the festival, we always do a lease for the park because we are saying that park's no longer open to the public space. This lease is somewhat similar to when the skateboard park was designed. There will be construction, while this is very minor, there will be construction with the installation of the statue, and we cannot have the public accessing that public park. So therefore, as well as it not being a city project, we are going to enter into a lease with Crown Equipment, as they are the ones who have paid to have the statue designed. They will pay for the installation, and then after the installation, they will donate that statue to the city of Piqua, where the city will have the long-term maintenance of it. But during the installation, that section of the park will not be accessible to the public, and that's the reason for the lease.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the commission on this resolution?
Yeah, normally, Stacy, when we have a contract, there's normally a statement on these that says content and forum has been approved by the law director.
Well,
This
this
one
is a
don't have
lease
it.
agreement versus a contract, and I wrote the lease.
Oh, okay.
So
All right. No,
I know
that's-
it's okay according to content and form.
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from the commission? Anything from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move to adopt Resolution 119-18.
I'll second it.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-120-18.
A resolution approving the tax rates for the city as determined by the Miami County Budget Commission.
Ms. Holtzapfel.
Thank you. We request your approval tonight of the City of Piqua's certified tax rates that are used to levy property taxes by the county for collection in 2019. The mills remain the same as last year. Expected collections are increasing slightly from this year, approximately $2,200, and approval tonight will allow the certification to Miami County by the due date, which is October 1st.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the commission on this resolution? Any questions or comments from our public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for resolution number R-120-18.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-121-18.
A resolution requesting authorization to enter into an agreement with DLZ for consulting services to assist the city of Piqua in developing the first phase of an ADA self-evaluation and transition plan.
Ms. Havener will provide the staff report.
Thank you. Title II of the Americans with Disability Act requires that all public agencies, our services we provide, our programs, and our facilities are all accessible to persons with disabilities. And compliance includes a self-evaluation of our building facilities, anything in the right-of-way, and our communications to identify any obstacles that may be out there. So what we're looking to do is break this down into phases. The first phase we would like to do is complete this year would be to look at all of our buildings and park facilities outside of the right-of-way and evaluate those as far as any ADA issues that may come up. And then the following subsequent years in 19 and possibly 20, we would look at doing all of the work within the right-of-way and also looking at our programs with the ultimate goal of having an ADA transition plan in place that we will then continue to update yearly after that.
Okay.
I should mention that this is a requirement for us to receive funding from the Regional Planning Commission and federal funds in the future.
All right.
Is this something that we could do ourselves?
No, it's really complicated, and we have to follow specifically federal guidelines and so forth, so it's much better for us to have a consulting firm who's familiar and can do these type things. We'd probably, it'd be a struggle for us to try to do it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the commission on this resolution? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move we adopt resolution R-121-18.
Has been moved and seconded.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. And now we move to resolution number R-122-18.
A resolution requesting consent to award a contract to First Choice Excavation and Demolition LLC for the former Moe's Lounge partial demolition project.
I'll call on Mr. Smeezing.
Thank you. This is to allow for us to move forward with the next phase of the work at 111 South Main Street, which is known as the former Moe's South Seas Building. You'll recall about a month ago, we presented an item and asked for commission authorization to move forward with the environmental remediation work to remove the asbestos-containing material from the building. That project is well underway and will be complete here in a couple weeks. The next phase, once the environmental issues have been abated, is to remove the addition off of the back of the building. So when you're looking at the structure, there's the original brick structure that you see on the Main Street facing side. And then there's a white vinyl sided addition on the back that has about a 4,000 square foot footprint. It's mostly covered in vines and vegetative overgrowth right now. But if you were to look at it from the inside, you would see voids in the floor and daylight through the roof. It's in very poor condition. So this project will allow for the demolition of the addition, taking it down to ready the building for the final phase, which is then restoration of the brickwork and the roof to put the building into a white box status, we describe it as, meaning that it's weather tight, the four walls, the exterior are sound, and it's ready for an end user to come in and build out a finish to occupy the space. We did receive one bid on August 27th when we opened the bids for the project. That was from First Choice Excavation and Demolition. Their bid was under the $50,000 estimate for the project, so we find it to be a reasonable number. The bid of $34,167.68. We asked for a few $1,000s in contingency, so the actual authorization is for $37,500. This will come from the US EPA Brownfield grant dollars that we had received earlier. It's the same money that we're using for the environmental remediation work. Of that 37.5 or whatever portion under that we spend, 71% will come from the Brownfield grant and 29% will come from local sources. The contractor is ready to roll as soon as we give them the green light.
Chris, as I was reading through this, I noticed the comments about the bike trail, because obviously they're going to be using the bike trail, and because they have to get back on that back side of the building. Can you speak to a little bit about what that'll be like for people who'd like to use the bike trail and are out using that?
Sure. So the total duration of the demolition work will be about a week.
Okay.
So once they cut it loose, so to speak, from the original structure, it'll come down fairly quickly, and then it's just cleaning up the debris. They'll be working from the backside, so they'll be occupying the space that where the trail traverses past the building. They'll haul in some embankment material, some dirt, to cover up the pavement to minimize any damage to the trail while they're moving around with track hose and equipment. But for a period of about 5 days, that segment of the trail will be closed to bicycle traffic or pedestrians.
Okay. It's just good for our citizens to know if they're out taking a jog or a walk or a bike ride, they might have to veer up to Main Street and pop back down, so.
We'll do the usual and customary street closing process, notification to the media, and all those sorts of things. And
Excellent.
there'll be signs and
Yeah.
all the appropriate accoutrements.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments on this resolution?
Chris and I talked about this earlier. That mess has been there for 50 years. Now, we're going to tear it down. We'll tear it off there. Are we going to do anything about the poison ivy growth that's going to naturally come up again after that's gone? And that's what it is back there, poison ivy.
Yeah. The vast majority of that will be taken away with the demolition, and then afterwards there'll be the embankment material, the dirt will backfill the area that's been disturbed where the footprint of the building was at. From that point forward, Public Works will continue to mow and maintain around the building, and now that we have the growth under control, it'll be much easier for them to spray and keep it from coming
Good.
back.
I just don't want us to have another
Yeah.
green space growing up the back of the building.
Well, and I think that's, our intent is to continue to develop the riverfront as we have
Sure,
behind the
sure.
power plant, the old power plant.
Sure,
It'll look much, much better when we're all done.
very good, very good.
Excellent. All right, any other questions from the commission on this resolution? Any questions from our public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Mayor Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Commissioner Short.
Aye.
Okay, the resolution passes. And now we move to the public comment portion of our meeting. Do we have any public comment this evening?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruth Kuhn. At your last commission meeting, you discussed the issue of replacing pavers in front of the Fort Piqua Plaza, and I understand that that was voted down. I'm here tonight to ask if that conversation can still take place, or is that a issue that cannot come up again? Let me just say before, I think you all know my passion for that building. So this year, you know, it is celebrating its 10th year anniversary, which seems absolutely impossible. And many of the commissioners, or a number of the commissioners, and Cindy were here, and Amy too, when we restored that wonderful building. So keeping it the way it was restored, I think, is so important to the integrity of the building, and also keeping it similar to what it looks like in our beautiful streetscapes is important also. So I'm asking you, the three of you, and I'm not going to look at you, but the three of you who voted no, if any of you might consider maybe changing your vote. Now, here's the other thing. I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about that, because in the meantime, I'm going to tell you that the Friends of the Piqua Library are initiating a celebration for the 10th year anniversary in November. And it's going to be held, of course, in the beautiful Grand Ballroom. And the other wonderful thing for Piqua is that we have engaged the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra. Now, not just the little band, it's the 53 musicians and a vocalist, and Neil Gittleman will be here conducting the orchestra. So what a great celebration for that wonderful achievement for our community. So I'm asking the three of you, Mayor Hines, is it available to come back up again for conversation, or is this an issue that we cannot discuss again?
We cannot vote on it tonight.
Okay.
But it is possible to have some conversation around it, yes.
Just so you know, I asked that it be brought back up again at
You
the end
did?
at the end of the last meeting. I did.
God love you,
Just want
Chris.
more
Thank you.
information, that's all.
Oh, great. Okay. And I think that's wonderful that we think a little bit more about it, because, as I said, we want to make sure that that building stays the way it was 10 years ago. And I think keeping the integrity of the front of the building is important. I know Bob Grazer is really he's really an advocate of making sure that it stays in the same condition. And I don't know, I'm sure he feels the same way I do. But if you would maybe consider it and then talk about it again, I would really appreciate it. And you will be hearing more about this gala celebration, November the 16th, in the Grand Ballroom in the near future. And thank you again for listening to me.
And I will say, I remember I think it was the 5-year celebration that we had, the Philharmonic here.
Yes.
And I was in attendance. It was phenomenal. And so I'm looking forward to this.
And we just met with the representative from the Dayton Philharmonic, and it is amazing when people come from Dayton, they think, well, you know, it's just going to be this little building, and everyone who comes in that Grand Ballroom is just taken aback by the beauty of the building. And so this is one thing that we have Well, no, we have a number of wonderful things in our community, but it's one thing in our community that we have to keep remembering is the center of our wonderful downtown. Thank you.
Thank you for coming
Thank
up.
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
You know, and I will say that's a wonderful example for our citizens, that when you have passion behind something and you want to see things happen and change in your city, coming to a city commission meeting is one of the best ways to make that happen. You know, a lot of times we hear a lot of grumbling in other places or a lot of suggestions, but I'll tell you, this is your forum as citizens to come and to speak before the commission and to bring forward your passion and your concerns. And so thank you, Ruth. You always come and bring a lot of good stuff, and the projects that you and your group work on, I mean, from the Fort Piqua Plaza, from the garden, from, you know, a variety of the Pittsburgher statue. I mean, wonderful things to help beautify our city. So thank you very much. Okay, and I believe there is no other public comment this evening. It doesn't look like there's anyone else out there. So we will move to the city manager's report.
Just one thing tonight, I'll just say that we have a lot of work going on. If you travel throughout the city, you'll see construction, so we're making some progress in a number of areas. So I think it will, when it's all finished, I think it will be very reflective of the many improvements that are happening throughout the city.
Thank you. Commissioner Vogt?
Okay, Ruth, I have to apologize. I neglected to go over and look at that, but we talk about the pavers, and I will, because as you remember back, how many years ago? 15 years ago, I called that the rat hole of Innisted, and I've since changed my mind, and I was one of the deciding votes to get it done. And I really take pride in that building, and I will look at that, and I'm sure we'll get something done on that. And I got a lot of things going on. I'm sorry I neglected looking at that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Martin?
Yeah, this is for Gary. I was wondering how long it's going to take for the paving to get done over in Shawnee.
Well, let's see, I think have they got the base coat on? I didn't get it by there today, but the base coat on everything. When do we expect them to pay final payment, Amy?
They have everything marked, no parking until Friday, so weather dependent. We're hoping by this Friday they'll be complete with the top coat. Now they'll have to come back in and do all the pavement markings and the manhole adjustments, but we're hoping for Friday, depending any major issues.
Yeah, I think Candlewood's completely done and
Correct.
some other places, so that's the, and then I believe Garbury all the way out to, all the way out to Kendall, is it?
Garbury out to our corp limit, and then Keenly has been milled, but that has not been resurfaced yet, so that will follow.
So I think all the complaints you've got in the past about Garbury Road, it'll be fine now, so.
Okay, good deal. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Commissioner Lee?
I have nothing tonight.
Commissioner Short?
I just, with what Gary was talking about and all the construction going on in the city, my day job allows me to drive around Piqua a lot, and it is amazing what the things that are getting done out there, and I'm very impressed with not only what's getting done, but how fast they're getting stuff done. So just kudos to those people that are doing those jobs, so thank you.
And I would just add that they are doing it in unbearable heat right now. So asphalt is no fun any time of the year, but right now it is not a fun job, I am sure. So we do kudos, because there's a lot going on with our streets right now. Okay, I do not have anything else. So if we have a motion to adjourn, we will adjourn.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.